Day 3, but really 2 on the Mercedes. We're here again. We beat the sun to work early. We got all the speakers removed last night. Now it's time to hit the game plan of if we're going to use the threaded inserts or how I want to mount the new Helix pods. Also got to make little harnesses, and we got to deal with these stupid rivets from the back door speakers that you have to destroy, which still is mind-boggling to me. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is get everything ready for the inserts on the doors. If you don't know what this is, there's what it's called. I call them threaded inserts or nutzerts. Mandrel, nose piece, a hand riveter kit. It's a lot of words. I'm gonna call them nutzerts. So these right here are what those, and I'm gonna show you what it does. These threaded inserts. So all these different sizes. You know, I got bags of them. I mean, they're just everywhere. But this tool allows you, if you look at the top, you have different mandrels, so you can change those out to different sizes to match whatever threads that you're doing. The rivets that were in the door, how it's got a centerpiece and it expands the back end, and that's how it holds together. This, you thread on, right? So you get it to right about flush. Then you're gonna take this and you'll put it in the hole in the car, and then you're gonna squeeze these arms. Now watch what happens when I squeeze the arms. See if I can get this to where you can see it. I squeeze the arms. And you see that? And it pulled it in, made that little bubble. So that locks it. So if you had it in the door, in between those two ripples, that's where the metal is gonna be for the door, and that's gonna hold that insert in there. So with our holes drilled, take your insert, and it fits perfect, right? So all the way around, I'm good. So now I can put the nutzert on the tool and begin compressing them into the holes. Go here. We're open, and then we're gonna go ahead and squeeze this. Open it back up. Squeeze again just to make sure that we got it all the way. Open all the way. Unthread it here. And there you go. Now we have threads in the door, so we can put the speaker adapters and thread them right in. And there, how nice, huh? Just clean, nice way to do it. Like factory, we can bolt the adapters in. They can be removed in the future as many times as you want, and you don't have to drill out stupid rivets. I wanted to point out something I forgot, and it's something I want people to do, and I literally am a hypocrite because I didn't do it myself. Yesterday, I showed you the guy Exotic Car DIY channel where he took off the door panel, and it helped me tremendously, and it's a great video. I did not like the video, and I didn't subscribe. That's exactly what drives me nuts about people that watch my videos. If you're watching my videos and you get anything from them, you learn anything from them, or you just enjoy watching them and seeing the end results, like and subscribe. It's really easy. So here I've brought it up, and I will go ahead and do that. So we are gonna like it, and we are gonna subscribe. For the wiring, first we have to test which leads are positive and negative since we don't have the harnesses for this vehicle. So we'll hit the speaker tester right here. Oh, you can do it with the 9-volt battery, but comes out, then I have it correct. So if we look at the terminals, we have the positive on that side. So we look at the harness, we can figure out which wire is the positive. Now we're going to do that all the way around. Then we're going to solder on new leads to these so that we can hook up to our speakers and get them installed. So all the speakers test mounted in their housings, wire coming out. I'm going to go ahead and obviously have to unhook the wire, go solder them into the car, but I want to make sure everything was going to fit. The rear speakers, if anybody ever does these, they go in upside down. I thought there was a problem. They would not fit. But as you can see, it says Helix upside down, but in the car, this is the bottom. Oh, just dropped it off. I tried and tried, couldn't get it to fit, and then all of a sudden it slipped in, and I realized they're upside down. Just delivered the tweeters. These were back ordered. Looks like they finally got here. So i3 tweeters to go up in the sill. They told me that I'm gonna have to custom make the sill or do some fab work. So I'm kind of interested to see what I'm gonna have to do there. But first, let's go ahead and get these wires soldered into the doors. Then we can get these flex mounts put on the doors. Then we can get the speakers mounted to the doors. And then all of our door speakers are done and we can put the door panels back on. Then we'll go and look at these sills because I still haven't received the harness. They said they were overnight in harness, but they also told me they were overnight in the tweeters, and they were supposed to be here yesterday, but they didn't come until today. So I'm assuming now the harness isn't going to come today. It's probably going to come tomorrow. It takes just a little time. Just gotta go slow and be patient, but front driver is in and the flex mounts are perfect. My threaded inserts perfect. Everything's solid. Just like the factory Mercedes, except, you know, we don't have to cut the speakers and destroy them. So that's there. So now I'm getting ready to mount the driver there, and then we will do the other side. So the flex mounts are like, they're perfect as far as how they fit and everything. But it's pretty obvious they're 3D printed. So they're being 3D printed, made, which is fine, but 3D printed things can break real easy. So as you're screwing in the speakers, you can hear, you know, little cracks because you're going into the 3D print. If you were to use like a screw gun and just whap, whap, you're gonna crack it, you're gonna break it. Same with the threaded inserts. Those work great, but if you overdrive them or slam a screw in there and then like spin the screw, you can break loose your little compression that you did, and now you've got a thread that's just loose in the door. I use a screw gun just to, you know, slowly get it to the base and then use hand tools to hand tighten everything down. There we go. All the speakers are installed. So the next step is going to be to put the panels on. I'm hoping it goes smooth. I know I do have to take my time and go slow. You have this channel right here, and that's what, there's a metal strip on the back of the panels, and it has to slide in there. And I know that that's gonna probably be a little bit of a pain, but the biggest problem is gonna be the channel that you have to take off right here. I just foresee that taking a little bit longer than what I think it will. That actually went really smooth. No big issues at all. Door panels are back on. So let's take a look at these tweeters. Apparently this looks like it's a, you know, it's a two-part pod. So we'll take this in the other room and get out the i3 tweeters. We'll take this grill, disassemble it, and see what it's going to take. And with the tweeter pods apart, you got the grill off. Also took off the Harman Kardon. There's the factory tweeter, and here's this pod. So it doesn't look like it's going to be too bad. We've got the i3 tweeters here. It looks like with just a little bit of trimming, I could probably get this to ride at that angle right there by trimming away that section. Tweeters are all mounted, perfectly fine. So we are ready to reinstall these into the doors, and it looks like these might actually be matching plugs to what's in there. And they are, the plugs match. So pretty easy, got that snap back in place. So let's go do the other side. And then we're gonna start working on the amplifiers. I think what I should probably do here, go ahead and remove this rack that's holding the factory amp, and let's see if we can utilize it in some way. And with all the components of the system laid out and kind of get an idea of what we're gonna need to do. First off, we have the Mobridge. This is what's gonna take the fiber optic input from the car, and then it's gonna give us a Toslink fiber optic out. That's gonna go into this up 8. It's got a built-in DSP. So this will be what will allow us to tune everything, and it's also an 8-channel amplifier. So it's gonna amplify the rear doors, the front doors, the tweeters, all those will be active, and the center channel still. So we're gonna be using 7 channels out of the 8. The rest of the speakers in the car won't be utilized anymore. Then we have the Rockford Fosgate Prime, which is a 500.1 sub amplifier. And then he also has this epicenter here. I've decided we do not need the epicenter. The only reason I was going to use this was if he didn't have a bass knob, because you need some way to control the sub. This has a base knob with it, so we'll go ahead and utilize the base knob from here. That way we can take this out of the chain, and being fiber optic, there's not going to be any kind of auto EQ or signal degradation. Fiber optic and light are way better than using low level. So we're not going to have to worry about any of those issues. And with the DSP, I'll be able to boost anything if I need to bump up the sub channel. So this will go off to the side. Now the Mobridge is going to have to go pretty much in the same vicinity as the factory amplifier because the fiber optic line. We're not going to be able to extend that. So we can imagine, let's say this piece, you know, goes here or up here. We cut away those little threads, whatever. So that can mount up there. Then we go out of that fiber optic into here, which Toslink, I really don't want to run a really long cable. So if possible, I would like to have the match 8 there. Coming out of here, we're going to go with the RCAs out the 9th channel because it has a 9-channel DSP from what I understand. So we'll be able to come out of that with the 9th channel into this, and that'll be our sub amp. This we can just go ahead and mount in the spare tire well. Next step is to go in here and see if I want to shave off these threaded studs because they're in my way, or if I can build off of them and make some kind of fastener. And there you go. Things were going so smooth today. Got the speakers, the door panels. I mean, I was just breezing right along, right? So you know something had to just swoop right in and kick me in the ass. So this is the harness I got in, and it's wrong. So this harness has here too many pins, way too many. This harness right here was $200 because shipping was $95. It looks like I might be right back to what I was trying to avoid, and that's hunching in the trunk and just cutting that factory harness to hell and having to tap and tone and figure it all out from there, which is gonna make my life miserable. I was hoping to have this Mercedes done, but obviously that's not gonna happen now. So I'm gonna package this stuff back up, kind of refocus onto the amp rack, but I'm not gonna lie, kind of just knocked the wind out of my sails where I just kind of want to say, forget it for the night, because if it's going to be here till Saturday, then I have all day Saturday I can work on it. I don't really need to be here too much later tonight. Went ahead and started IDing these. I've got them all separated, so I've got all the wires identified in the factory harness. I'm doing what I hate doing, which is cutting factory lines, but it's these right here, which are the speaker outs. Everything seems to be there, so tomorrow I will cut the rest of those and we're going to solder them together to the matches harness, which I have prepped in the other room. Being that this is an amp with a built-in DSP, I can program any channel, any of these outputs to be anything I want, but they've got it set up in the instructions exactly what I'm doing as a sample layout. So I've got everything labeled here. So front left tweeter, front left woofer, front right tweeter, front right woofer, center channel, rear left, rear right. We're just going to go ahead and solder these directly to the lines in the trunk because this will be mounting right there where the factory amp was, and right here's where the harness is, so we'll be able to just tie all the lines right there. With that being said, that's going to be it for tonight on the Mercedes. Things were going really well, but you see, that's what happens. It is what it is. I do have a remote start to do first thing in the morning, so I'm getting ready to pull it in. I'm at the park it right here, do the remote start. Then after I'm done with the remote start, I'll jump back onto the Mercedes and continue filming tomorrow. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.